afternoon, my name's Adrian. I'm here today to show you how to make one of these little chaps. This is a comfort bird. This particular one's designed around the shape of a nuthatch, which either go up or down. They're very tactile, very smooth, and people like to put them in their hands just to focus on a bit of mindfulness and help them relax and so on. We're not going to need a lot of tools today. In fact, everything we're going to need today I have in my pocket here. We're going to need a Stanley knife, a pencil and some sandpaper. And the good news is you won't have to see my face again. It's all hands from now on. Right, so here we are at the workbench, or as my wife calls it, the video cabinet. You should all have received one of these blanks and also a sheet of card with the image of the cutout bird on it, which what I'd like you to do now is to cut around the edges of the bird but just slightly inside the lines, and then we'll redraw those on top of the blank. Is that okay? Great. Okie dokie, once you've done that, what we're going to do next is to define our edges of our cuts. To do that, I'm putting my finger against the bird, I'm putting the pencil against my finger and roughly 9mm in, 8 or 9mm, then I'm running along the edge just like a marking gauge in carpentry. We're doing this to show exactly where we're going to be cutting out. We turn it round, we do the same thing on the top, both sides, keeping the same distance, sort of lock that into position. Then we'll estimate roughly where the middle is, put our finger to the edge and then cut the centre line, which will come in very useful for us in our next stage. I'd like to speak now a little bit about health and safety, which I'm sure you're more than aware of, being NHS workers. We're going to be using this knife today, and it's very sharp, at least it should be if it's going to cut properly. As you can see, I've got a cover, and if it's not in use, make sure the cover is put on. If you've got a retractable knife, pull the blade back in when you're not using it. Always cut away from yourself. This is not always the case in carving, but in the carving we're going to do, then this is what we want to strive for. If you've seen the link to the YouTube video that Martin showed me, he's passed a link on to you, then you'll be aware of some of the knife cuts and the health and safety from that. Now this is a cut. You hold your thumb, it's called the thumb push. You hold your knife as if you're riding a bike. You put your thumb on the back of the frame of the blade, then hold your timber in the opposite hand, and then just gently push with the other thumb, ensuring you're not too close to this finger. See how easy that's cutting? We just want to take very small strokes, and the cuts we're going to make are all going to be inside these lines. If you see what I'm doing, see how I'm cutting just to the edge of that line. Now we'll be able to refine that later on. I'll do the same here. I'm just cutting, and I'm watching my fingers all the time, watching my other hand. It's very important to bear this in mind. As I'm sure you're aware, hospitals are very busy at the moment, so we're just going to plod along and take little cuts off like this, always keeping the fingers and thumbs behind the blade. Very gentle cuts, don't force anything. If you're forcing, you're taking too much wood off. Come back and just take a little cut and a little cut at a time. Okay, so a lovely sound. Okay. Hello. Right, I hope that went well. By now, at this point, you should have something that looks a bit like this, with the timber taken out where you've been cut in between the lines. At this stage, this is just roughing out, so you don't have to panic about what it looks like. In fact, when we're finished, if it doesn't look exactly like you want it to, it's still quite an achievement to have got that far. Right, so what we're going to do next, we're going to take it down once again to the next line, which we're going in, marking out the same way as we did, just to that area. This is going to be our finished surface. These are going to be carved around between there and there to give her a nice curved shape. The same below, we're going to carve to the centre, right up, but don't take the bill any further in than this point, allowing about 2 millimeters either side of the bill and tapering off. There's no rush to do this, and if you notice I put my cover back on, there's no rush to do this, but you just take very, very slow little cuts. You know, it's not a race. You have to enjoy yourselves and make the most of this. Just little cuts like this. It's a lovely sound. There. So we're going to go down to our centre line. What we're looking for is a comfort bird, not a great work of art. I'm taking these lines down. These lines, stand still that my fingers and thumb are behind the blade as much as possible. So we're looking for something. See how small the chips are? We're looking for something of that shape. A nice round curve. Okay? If we carry on with that, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, what you should have now is something resembling this. Not exactly like it, but we've taken it down, rounded all the edges off. You can see there are lumps and bumps everywhere. This is not a problem. What we're going to do now is to refine it a bit more. So we're going to take the cover off the blade and then just gently take all the high points off of your cuts, such as this ridge. I don't know if you can see that very well, but you take that ridge off, you're left with two smaller ridges, one there, one there. You take those ridges off, which basically sums up carving, is taking high points off, or digging holes out. And once we've done that, we should have a much more refined shape. And it's then we proceed to the sandpaper. Now I've got 120 grit here, which I'm going to fold up into a small square and then just gently go over the top of your carving. Just run with the grain, never run across the grain, always run with the grain. Now what I'm looking for is not a perfect finish. I'm looking for something that still has a bit of character and a few knife marks, little dimples in there. This type of thing. You see the marks? Yeah. So, any knife scuffs, go over them, go all over the bird, and eventually taking particular care with the bill along here. Try and support the bill with your finger and just go up. This is the only part I would recommend taking right down to a smooth surface, because it adds that feature of smoothness, I suppose. You'll end up then, this is obviously a different bird, you'll end up with something like this, like the one I showed you in the beginning. So then that's basically it. All you need to do now is, if you'd like, is to drill a hole in the bottom, around about there, the centre, and then place a bamboo pole, kebab stick, that's the word I'm looking for. You place one of those in to about this length, and then you can just gently put on a bookshelf, for example, and put your books on top. I'll show you a few more things that you'll be able to do over the next few weeks if you fancy giving them a try. Right, hope you've managed to sand those into something resembling a bird. This is what we started with this morning, and we've gone through to this stage. Now that's a massive difference. If you've got anything even resembling this, you've done a fantastic job. And it's all about doing a great job. It's just about, you know, having enjoyment, taking part. This is the sort of thing I mean with the stick inside there. You can just put a book on there or something on your mantelpiece or whatever you like, and you'll end up with birds like that. You can also, as you progress, learn to put wings in, and then there are other birds you could possibly do, such as this shoveler. This is a bit of a combination between a shoveler, which is a type of duck, and a pintail, which is also a type of duck. The timber used here is yew wood. This is one of the pair, as you can see. The next stage then, really, these have been sanded flat. The next stage then would be to do something resembling this. It's a stylized cormorant on rocks, as you can see, which is done. These were all done with knives, apart from the base of this one, which was done with a small gouge, and then just sanded and finished. There we are. Hope you enjoyed the video. Now please take care, and if you enjoy the hobby, good luck. Very pleased. All the best. I know I promised you wouldn't see my ugly bug again, but I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of everyone, especially myself, my family, welcome to our woods, to all thank everyone at the NHS, and what a fantastic job you're doing. We're very much in your debt. Thank you all very much. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you again hopefully. Take care.